Tonight I'm going to look at a song, Fly Me to the Moon. It's one that I've always liked, and I've had this on my list of songs I wanted to look at for a while now. And with all of the news about the mission to the moon this week, the Artemis NASA mission to the moon, I thought it'd be a fun time to look at this one. I'll first go through the chords and then try and play through it once. Just want to make sure that I'm positioned where you can see me well enough. Yep. By the way, I'm left-handed, so if you're right-handed watching this, just mirror me, and that should work fine. Let's see. And if you need the sheet music, I got my copy from musicnotes.com. So I like that site. It's got lots of good sheet music. So I'll start at the beginning and go through the chords. So the first chord is a standard C minor. So you're going to take your index finger and you're going to fret the third fret except for the top string. Then you're going to use your second finger to fret the next to the bottom string on the fourth fret. And then you're going to use your pinky and ring finger to fret the two strings above that one, but on the fifth fret. And you're going to play every string except the top one. The next chord that shows up is G minor 7. And the version that they're showing for this is on the third fret, fret the top string. I'm going to use my thumb to grab it because they're showing the other part is you have to also fret these three strings here, also on the third fret. Starting at the next to the bottom string and then working your way up. And you can do it two ways. You can use your ring finger, second finger, and index finger working your way up. That's one way. Or you can just use your index finger and try and bar it with one. They show a little arc symbol, which indicates, I think they're just barring it with one, so I'm going to try it that way. And then they go back to the C minor, and then go back to that G minor 7. Actually, I think I changed my mind. I'm going to play that G minor 7 using the three fingers. Oh, and by the way, don't include the second string in that. And a good way to do that is if you use your thumb, come over a little extra so the tip of your thumb just touches that second string. It'll mute it. Okay, then they play C minor 7. So we've seen C minor. We've played that twice now. So I'll start with that. And then the only thing you have to do to make it a C minor 7 is lift up your pinky and then leave everything else the way it was. And then play the same strings. That's C minor 7. Then they play F minor 7. So first we're going to take our index finger and we're going to bar the entire first fret starting at the top string. Then we're going to skip the second fret and we're going to reach, and with our ring finger we're going to grab the next to the top string and we're going to play all strings. Next they have B flat 7. So for those of you just starting out, B flat means on a guitar, it means you're playing it one fret lower than normal. So if it was a B7, we would start here on the second fret and bar it. But since it's B flat, we're going to move it down one fret, which makes it the first fret. And then we're going to use our pinky and ring finger to play the next to bottom string with the pinky and go two strings up, skip a string, go two strings up from there, or the third string from the top. also on the 3rd fret, and press down with your ring finger there and play all strings except the top one. Then they have E flat major 7. So I want to explain what flat means again since I just did that. They're showing this on the 3rd fret, so I'm going to go up to the 3rd fret, and they're showing that they're barring the bottom 3 strings. So I am going to try and bar it this time using my index finger. And the reason I'm going to follow their advice is, so that's the first part of it. The next part's a little tricky because you got to reach a little bit. You're going to skip the 4th fret, and on the 5th and 6th fret, you're going to use your pinky and ring finger to press down. And what you're going to do is on the 6th fret, you're going to press down on the next to the top string with your pinky. On the 5th fret, you're going to press down on the 3rd to the top string with your ring finger, and you're going to play everything but the top string. Okay, and it's a little bit of a reach, so it may take a time or two to get it to sound nice and clean. The next chord they show is A flat. And there's different versions of A. This one that they're showing is starting on the 4th fret. And again, the flat means we came down a fret. So A would have been here. So we're at A flat on the 4th fret. Okay, and then we're going to use your ring and pinky fingers on the 6th fret to press down on the next to the top and the string below that. And then on the 5th fret, use your 2nd finger to press down on the string right below your pinky, which would be the 4th string from the top. Play all strings. Then they show D minor 7 flat 5, which, if I'm reading this correctly, they're literally just playing on the 1st fret. I'm going to use my index finger to press down the bottom 3 strings, and the next string above that, they're showing that they're playing it open, which is the 3rd to the top string, and they're playing all of that. Okay, the next one is G7 flat 9. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 4th fret, we're going to use our pinky and our ring finger to play the bottom string with the pinky and the 3rd string from the bottom, skip a string for the ring finger. And then on the 3rd fret, we're going to use our 2nd finger and our index finger in that order to play the next to the bottom and the 4th from the bottom, or the string right above where your ring finger was, but on the 3rd fret. And we're going to play everything but the top 2 strings. Okay. So let's see. Then C minor shows up. We've already covered that one. C7 we haven't covered. So to play a C, you would simply use your index finger and press down the next to the bottom string on the 1st fret. Use your ring finger, press down on the 3rd fret, 2nd string from the top, and then use your 2nd finger to press down on the 2nd fret, 3rd string from the top. That's a C. To make it a C7, all you do is then use your pinky on the 3rd fret, 2 strings below your ring finger, so skip a string, press down on that, which is the 4th string from the top, and then play all but the top string. And then they show, let's see, we've seen F minor 7, so we've seen that one. Okay. Then they show A flat slash B flat. Now, when you see a slash and another letter, that's letting us know they've changed the root of the chord. So they're basically taking the A flat and modifying it and adding something additional so that the root that we're playing is actually the B flat. So they show it starting on the 4th fret, and it looks like they want us to bar the bottom 2 strings on the 4th fret. Then on the 5th fret, 1 string up, we press down. I'm going to use my 2nd finger for that. Then on the 6th fret, they show that they're going 1 string up above the last finger. And then also on the 6th fret, they show they're grabbing the top string, which I'm going to try using my thumb. That one's going to be a little tricky to get it to sound nice and clean. Sorry, my monitor cut out on me for a second. So that's the full first page. Let me see what's on the second page. Yeah, this song has lots of chords in it. So on the second page, they show, sorry, one moment. Computer's not cooperating. Okay, now I'm back, I think. Yep. On the second page, they show the first chord is A minor 7 flat 5. And they show it on the 1st fret. They show the next to the bottom string, which I'm going to try with my 2nd finger. And then 2 strings up from that, so I'm going to skip a string, or the 3rd string from the top. I'm going to press down with my index finger, and they're playing everything except the top and bottom strings. Okay, then they have B flat 7 sharp 5, which is a little complicated, but hopefully it makes sense. So we talked about what makes it flat. The opposite is true if you're doing a sharp on a guitar. So if it's a sharp, you're literally just going up 1 fret. Just as a side note. They're showing that they're starting on the 6th fret. Okay. And they're showing that on the 6th fret, which would be here, they're grabbing the top string and the 3rd from the top string. And they're having an X on the 2nd string, which means it's muted, which hopefully you can kind of see how my index finger is kind of leaning on the 2nd string. So that will achieve that. That will mute it. Then on the 7th fret, they're showing that they're pressing down on the next to the bottom string, which I'll do with my pinky, and the string above that, which I'll do with my ring finger. And they're playing everything except the bottom string, and then that 2nd string gets muted. Okay. Then they have G minor 7, which we've already seen. Then they go back to C7. And then F minor 7. And then they go back to that A flat slash B flat that we just saw, which hopefully, since I just covered it, you remember that. And then that same B flat 7 sharp 5 that we just covered, that was on the 6th fret. Then they have a new one. It's A flat diminished, or A flat DIM, which means diminished. Okay, they show this starting on what I believe is the 3rd fret. Sorry, it's a little hard to see. It's so small. Yeah, 3rd fret. Looks like they're barring the 3 strings just above the bottom string. So shift up 1 string and grab everything, the 3 strings right above it. Then that's on the 3rd fret, and then use your 2nd finger to press down on the 3rd string from the bottom, and then that's on the 4th fret, and then also on the 4th fret, grab the top string, which I'm going to actually try and do with my ring finger this time, just because of the way my hand's positioned. Oh wait, no, that might be a little hard. I'm going to try it with my thumb. And you'll just have to try different things to see what works best for you. It all comes down to your hand and how you can position things comfortably for yourself. And then E flat 6. We already talked about what flat means on a guitar, and then 6 is referring to the note in a scale. There's 8 notes, like in a C scale, there's 8 notes because the C shows up at each end. And so the 6 would refer to the 6th note in this scale that this song is in. So they're showing this being played on the 1st fret. Okay. They're showing this being played on the 1st fret, and they're barring the 3 strings just above the bottom string. So skip the bottom string and go up and try and grab those 3 strings right above the bottom string. And then that's on the 1st fret. And then on the 3rd fret, they're showing that they're grabbing the bottom and third from the bottom string. And I'm going to do that with my pinky and ring finger in that order. And then I'm going to play everything except the top 2 strings. And then they show D minor. They show D minor 7. This is a standard chord that you'll see a lot. So take your pinky and grab the bottom 2 strings of the 1st fret, and then use your 2nd finger to grab the 3rd string from the bottom on the 2nd fret, and then play the open D string right above that and leave out the top 2 strings. Okay. Then they show G7 flat 9. So we're going to go up to the 4th fret. We're going to kind of do it in reverse order. On the 4th fret, use your ring finger to grab the bottom string. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Use your pinky to grab the bottom string. Use your ring finger to grab the 3rd string from the bottom, so skip a string. And then use on the 3rd fret, that was the 4th fret. On the 3rd fret, use your 2nd finger to grab the 2nd string from the bottom. And also on the 3rd fret, use your index finger, grab the string right above where your ring finger is, which is the D string or the 3rd string from the top. And then leave out the top 2 strings and just play the bottom 4 that you've pressed down. I think we've actually seen that one before. I think I've done that one twice, but that's okay. It's a little tricky, so it's okay to cover it twice. Okay. The next chord that shows up is the C minor 7 that we've already covered. And then F minor 7, which we've covered. And then B flat 7. I don't think we've done this one. Maybe so, but just in case. So B flat 7, we know what the flat means. B normally starts on the 2nd fret, but since it's flat, we're going down to the 1st fret. Use your index finger starting at next to the top string and press down on all strings except the top one. Then on the 3rd fret, use your pinky and your ring finger to grab the 2nd string from the bottom and the 4th string from the bottom. In other words, skip a string, both on the 3rd fret since it's flat, and then strum everything except the top string. Okay, E flat major 7 is the next one. I think we've covered this, but it's a little tricky, so we'll do it again. So on the 3rd fret, press down on the bottom 3 strings with your index finger. Then on the 5th and 6th fret, reach, you're going to have to reach, use your ring finger on the 6th fret, 2nd string from the top, and I'm sorry, not your ring finger, your pinky. And then your ring finger on the 5th fret, 3rd string from the top. So let me say that again. On the 6th fret, use your pinky on the 2nd string from the top, your ring finger on the 5th fret, 3rd string from the top, leave out the top string and strum them down. Okay. Next shows up A flat, which we've seen. Starts on the 4th fret. D minor 7 flat 5 we've seen. Just press down the bottom 3 strings, include the open D right above them on the 1st fret. G7 flat 9, we just saw that one, so I won't cover it again. Oh, I'm sorry, I went one too high. Okay, and then C minor. Oops, for some reason my monitor keeps cutting out. It's never done that before. I'll have to figure out what's causing that for next time. Sorry about that. Then C minor, we've already seen. And then C7 we've seen. Let me see what's on the next page. F minor 7. That A flat, B flat that we saw, we used our index on the bottom 2 strings of the 4th fret. And then on the 5th fret, we went 1 string up with our 2nd finger. On the 6th fret, we went up another string, but on the next fret up. And then we also, on that same fret, used our thumb to grab the top string, and we muted the next to the top string with our thumb as well. That one's a little tricky. And then D7 flat 9. D7 flat 9 is going to start on the 4th fret. I don't think we've seen this one yet. 4th fret, the bottom 3 strings just above the bottom string. So leave out the bottom string, but use your index finger to grab the next 3 strings up. And then that's the 4th fret. And then on the 5th fret, grab the next to the top string with your 2nd finger, and then the 4th string from the top, or in other words, skip a string with your ring finger, and leave out the top and bottom strings. And then the chord that comes in next, we're getting close to the end of the first verse, so that's good news. It's been a lot of chords for this. This is going to be a tricky one, so I don't know if I'll be able to do a full playthrough. I'll try. But I didn't want to rush it, so this is running a little longer than my videos normally go, but I wanted to cover all the chords in case someone wants to learn it. But I'll try and at least get through these next few for the first verse. So just a couple more. So the next one's G minor 7 flat 5. And that's going to be on the 2nd fret, 2nd string from the bottom. I'm going to try that with my index finger. Then on the 3rd fret, the next 2 strings up, I'm going to use my ring finger on the next string up and my 2nd finger on the string above that on the same fret, on the 3rd fret, both of them. And then I'm going to grab the top string with my thumb and play everything except the bottom string, and the 2nd string from the top is going to get muted with my thumb. Okay, there's another new one. They're throwing in some new chords here at the end. So another new one is C9. And 9 is what it sounds like. It's, a scale has 8 chords. 9 is, when you go 1 to 8, you've covered all the notes in a scale. So 9 is one above that. So it basically starts over, right? So but it's like the next octave up, kind of is the why it's showing up as 9. They're showing this on the 3rd fret, I believe. I have to double check sometimes. It's hard to see. Yeah, 3rd fret. They're showing the bottom 3 strings getting fretted as a bar. I'm going to try that with my ring finger. And then they're showing on the second fret, 3rd string from the top. I'm going to try that with my index finger. And then on the 3rd fret again, 2nd string from the top, or string right below the top string. I'm going to try that with my 2nd finger. And then I'm going to strum everything except the top string. Okay, the next one is C major 7. This is an easy one. We've already covered C, right? So start by what we did for a standard C. And all you have to do is pick up your index finger. Stop pressing down on the string it was on and leave everything else the same. And you have a C major 7. Leave out the top string like we did before and play everything else. Then they have F minor 7, which we've seen. We've seen A flat / B flat. Now they have B flat 9. I can't remember if we did that one. I don't think so. B flat 9, they're showing it on the 1st fret. They're showing that they're pressing down the bottom 3 strings. And then the next to the top string, not the top one. Now, I initially tried that with my index finger, but I don't think that's going to work. So what I'm going to do is switch and use my ring finger for the bottom 3 so I can bar those bottom 3 strings, which will free up my index finger for that next to the top string, and then leave out the top string and strum down. Okay, we're almost there. 3 more chords, and then we're done with the first verse. Let's see. Okay, this one is E flat add 9. We know what flat means. Add 9 is similar to the things we've seen before. Anytime you see diminish or a slash or an add or a sus, they're letting you know they've modified the standard chord a little bit. So the way they're showing this is they start on the 3rd fret, 3rd string from the bottom, and press down there. Then they're showing, let's see, I'm going to jump up. So 1, 2, 3. So we started on the 3rd fret. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go all the way up to the 6th fret, and I'll explain why here in a second. On the 6th fret, next to the top string, we're going to press down on it, and I'm going to use my pinky. And the reason I'm going to do that, actually, nope, I was wrong. I'm going to try and use my ring finger. I'm going to try and use my ring finger on the 6th fret, 2nd string from the top. And the reason I'm going to do that is on that same 6th fret, they're also showing that we have to press down on the next to the bottom string, which I'll have to use my ring finger for. And then 1 fret up on the 5th fret, 1 string down below where your ring finger is, which should be the 3rd string down from the top. they're pressing down there, and then they're playing down but leaving out the top and bottom strings. Okay, 2 more chords and we've made it to the end of the first verse. Okay, D flat is the next one. Starts on the first fret. They're showing the bottom 3 strings are barred. I'm going to try it with my index finger. On the second fret, they're pressing down the next to the bottom string. I'm going to try that with my second finger. And then on the 3rd and 4th fret, they're pressing down on the next to the top and 3rd from the top strings. So on the 4th fret, use your pinky to press down the next to the top string. And on the 3rd fret, use your ring finger to press down the 3rd from the top string. Play everything except the top string. And then the last chord before the first verse ends and they start the second verse is G7, which is a standard chord. So you're going to go to the first fret and press down the bottom string. You're going to go to the 3rd fret, and that's with your index finger. You're then going to go to the 3rd fret with your ring finger and press down the top string. And then you're going to go to the 2nd fret next to the top string and press down with your 2nd finger and play all strings. And that is the last chord that they show for the first verse. I normally try and do playthroughs, but this has gotten so long, and plus I'll be honest, there's a lot of new chords in this that I may struggle with. Let me see. I'll try the ones I can do. If I come across some that trip me up, I'll skip it and just go to the next one. Let me see if I can do a quick playthrough real quick. Let's see, I'll start at the beginning. The words don't start right away. Sorry. Let me see what she's can see. Fill my heart so sing forever. Do it again. Well, that's my first try at it. I'll have to go back through and get comfortable with a lot of those new chords. Hopefully this helps you if you're learning to play guitar and want to try and learn this song. Thanks. See you next time.